All right, Sam's here, yay. Okay, so today you guys are just working on, we're starting chapter 7, and we're just talking about similar and congruent, and you guys have done this before. I'll show you probably what you did. I saw that it's even taught in 3rd grade, so we're just looking and seeing if figures are similar or congruent. So similar figures have the same shape, but not necessarily the same size, right? All the sides have to be proportional in order for it to be similar. We'll talk about that in a minute, but same shape, not the same size. You guys know that. Congruent figures, you should know everything is the same shape, same side, side lengths, excuse me, same angles. Everything has to be the same in order for them to be congruent. Okay, this little symbol here just means congruent. So this is something you might have done in like 3rd grade when you were talking about similar or congruent. So you just had to identify which shapes are similar and which ones are congruent. So figure 1 here, is that similar or congruent? Is it the same shape and same size, or is it just same shape? What do you think?
That's congruent.
It looks, I know I had trouble with this one too, but it looks like the plus signs are a little, like the first one is a little smaller than the second. So if they're not the same size, what do we call it? That would be similar. So I just put an S on number 1 for similar. What about number 2? Similar or congruent? You want me to just go through these quickly? I know some of you guys don't want to talk. All right. Number 2 are not the same size. So we'd say those are similar. Number 3, those are the same size and shape. So those are congruent. Number 4, different sizes, but same shape. So that's similar. And number 5, same shape, different size. So it's just similar. 6, same shape and size. So congruent. And then number 7, different sizes. So they're just similar. And same thing with number 8. Those are just similar, right? Different sizes. So that might have been something you did maybe back in 5th grade or something. So that's just a quick review. What you're going to have to do is to mathematically prove if something's similar or congruent. So we're going to look at the 2 triangles in just a second. There's 2 ways to do that. Number 1, if you look at the markings and they show which sides or angles are the same markings mean they're equal. If just the angles are the same, it's similar, but it doesn't mean that they're congruent. But if the sides are equal, obviously that means that they're congruent. So these 2, they have all of the same angles, right? You have 110 and 110. 38, if you do the math, we talked about sum and angles in a triangle would be 180. So if you add these together and subtract them from 180, you'd find this angle on E is also 38. So my angles are all the same. So they are therefore similar figures. The sides don't have to be the same. But in order to mathematically prove it, let's say they didn't give you the angles. So if you don't have enough marking, you have to use the corresponding sides to make a proportion. So I set up a proportion down here. You're just going to find a ratio of 2 sides from the first figure and set them equal to the other one, and then we're going to mathematically prove it. So I just picked side CB here, which is 12, and side AB here, which is 6. Okay, so I just took the longest side and the shortest side. And the corresponding sides to those, right, CB corresponds to FE. So that has a length of 18. I'm going to put that one on top on my other ratio. And then AB corresponds to DE, right? Same position. So where I put 6 on the bottom, this time I'm going to put 9 on the bottom, okay? And now all we do is, there's 2 ways to do this. If the diagonal products are equal, that means that they're similar. So we're going to do that method first. So we're going to multiply 6 times 18. And if you put that in your calculator, that'll just get you 108. 12 times 9, multiply those are 108. So if your cross products here are the same, that means they're similar figures. That proves it mathematically. The other way you could do it is looking at your ratios. If they form equivalent ratios, then that would also prove that they're similar. So if I simplify 12 over 6, that gets me 2 over 1. 18 over 9 also simplifies to 2 over 1. And those clearly are equal. So that proves that these are similar. Okay? So that's pretty much it for the presentation. I've left that in there for you guys if you need to look back at it. But what you're going to be doing is on IXL, I'll give you a couple examples what you're doing. Some of them are as simple as, hey, is this congruent or similar? Which is what we did. And like I said, that would have been like a 5th grade skill you had done. So let's go ahead and type it in here. And remember, you need to get a 47% or above in order to get, is it, I don't want diagnostic. Okay, so I started it for you guys. It should pop up when you go to your learning tab. That yellow star has your recommendations. And you can see I started here. It's just similar and congruent figures. Okay. And we'll just do a couple of them together, and then I'll see if you guys have any questions, okay? So here's a simple one. Are these congruent? So in order for them to be congruent, they have to be same shape. Do they look like the same shape? Yes, but they also have to be the same size. So we're going to look at the measurements. This short side is 20. This short side is 15. So that means they can't be congruent. My measurements are different, okay? Are these congruent? They look like the same shape. Let's look at the side lengths. Here I've got 27 and 33. Here I've got 27, 33. Okay, so those could be the same. And then I'm just going to check my angles. Uh-oh. This has an angle of 39. I don't have any angles of 39 here. So even though they look like the same shape, the angles are off a little bit. So they're not going to be congruent. Okay. This is where you would look at your markings. Here you've got 1 arc and 1 arc. Here's 1 arc, but I don't have another angle that's the same arc. And this angle here has 2 arcs. I don't have anything with 2 arcs here. So if the angles aren't the same, they can't even be similar. The angles have to be the same. Okay. Oops, I have to hit submit. I'm waiting to do some that are, okay, so here they're asking, are these similar or not? So it looks like my angle markings are good, right? 1 arc, 1 arc. This one has 2 1 arcs. This has 2 arcs. This has 2 arcs. So the angles look like they're the same. Now I have to use a proportion to figure out if they are similar. So I can pick any 2 sides I want. I'll just pick this long side, 27. And the short side of 18. So I'll pick 27 and 18, and I'll write a proportion with that. I've never used this before, so we're going to have to be patient with this. So I had 27, that's a 2, and I had 18. So I picked the long side over the short side. Oy vey. Now I'm going to take the ratio of the other ones, long over short. So the longest side on here is 18 and the shortest is 12. So we're going to write 18 over 12. And then again, there's 2 ways to do this. You could simplify these ratios and see if they're equal, or we could do cross products, those diagonal products. Let's do the multiplication first. I'm going to use my calculator because I don't know what 18 squared is. And we'll just do 18 times 18 is 324. Okay, I got 324 for this product. And then we're going to multiply these two. 27 times 12. All this is multiplication, and that gives me 324 as well. So if those are the same products, that proves that they're similar. Done. The other way you could do it, like I said, is to simplify them. 27 and 18, I think they're both divisible by 3 is the biggest. 9. So divide them both by 9 and you get 3 over 2. And the largest thing, these are divisible by, is 6. So divide each by 6 and you also get 3 over 2. Okay, so you could use this method of simplifying them both, seeing if they're equal, or you can just do the diagonal products. But either way, it does prove that these are similar. And that's pretty much all you're doing on IXL. Okay? Do you have any questions? Do you want to go over more? Look at this. I think I only answered 5 and I've already got a 36. So you shouldn't have to answer too many to get them correct. Okay? Is there any questions that you guys have?